Hello. There are two kinds of light: the glow that illuminates and the glare that obscures. James Thurber, Lanterns and Lances, 1961. My name is Joshua, and today I will be discussing one of the least talked about negative externalities of the 20th and 21st century. Why is it not talked about? I can only assume it is because other types of pollution and environmental hazards such as chemical spillover, air pollution, global warming, and water pollution are front and center of the movements for climate activism. Thus, light pollution is a silent tragedy. For generations upon generations, perhaps since the beginning of time as we know it, our ancestors used to look to the stars in wonder for both guidance and comfort. Many civilizations and religions of the past and present have considered the stars to be gods and to represent spiritual entities. I believe that the stars affect us in more ways than we expect, not just our ecosystems or energy output, and thereby unnecessary economic spending and unnecessarily large carbon footprint, but also our health, both tangible and intangible health. Being able to see the stars at night falls in comparison to not having healthy drinking water, economic security, and food for the family. Understandably so. With the creation of the light bulb and artificial lighting, we have made it possible to get more productive time out of our nights. Rather than have time for rest, we have made it possible to work around the clock, which, at least on the surface level, is nothing but economically positive and stimulates growth. Stargazing was once a relaxing pastime for humans. The stars gave us a reason to slow down. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, once stated, "If you gaze into the abyss gazes also into you." Our skies were once the exact definition of an abyss. At one time, they gave humans all across our globe a reason to stop, rest, ponder, and to look outwards. When we ponder outward, it gives us an opportunity to look inward. When we stop to contemplate the depths of something as profound as a sky full of stars, it gives us an opportunity to restructure the way with which we see ourselves, our world, and existence itself. I wouldn't be surprised if having zero light pollution would reduce crime dramatically, lower anxiety and depression, and increase overall positivity due to melatonin stability. Both light pollution and mental health can be seen as negative externalities to the industrialization of the globe. But perhaps light pollution is playing a bigger role in how we feel than we have yet to perceive fully. Light pollution has immense effects on our ecosystem. Not only does it affect pollinators such as bees and moths, but it also affects birds, mammals, and even sea life. To quote Ecological Consequences of Artificial Night Lighting by Catherine Rich, all 986 species of bats, badgers, and smaller carnivores, most rodents, with the notable exception of squirrels, 20% of primates, and 80% of marsupials are nocturnal. Thus, it would be surprising if night lighting did not have sufficient effects on mammals. Not only are mammals affected by light pollution, but so are moths and bees, pollinators, and many types of bugs. Catherine Rich references this extensively in the third chapter of Ecological Consequences of Artificial Night Lighting. Bats and their insects prey at streetlights. What's happening is that artificial lights are attracting insects, and through opportunistic predation, bats are literally swooping in and capitalizing on the situation. And it does not end here. Migrating birds are also massively affected by the use of artificial lighting. There will be some costs in the short term. Implementing all this new infrastructure to help combat light pollution may be an expensive task, but it is well worth it in the long run because, well, there's a lot of power and energy to be saved. Eventually, it will be more attractive for businesses to use energy-efficient lighting, not only for lowering the power bill, but also for making the business attractive from the outside. Now, I will be introducing two individuals who I got the lucky chance to interview, both from Dark Sky Organization, Pennsylvania. First, we have Mark Gross, and he's been a part of Dark Sky Organization since 2019. So I think one of the most important ones is going to be what sort of change will bring about a 50 to 80% reduction in light pollution that is realistic in today's bright world. And that's that's a high gap. That's a really high gap. I don't know if you can get me one thing or two things, but if we can get some sort of direction going, that'd be great.
Yeah, just to preface that, because I wrote a response to the Science Journal, the introduction article that said this is easy to fix. We can just turn off the switch.
Mm-hmm.
I said that's not true.
Yeah.
Because we've already caused damage to the environment,
mm-hmm.
and that may or may not be recoverable.
Yeah.
People don't notice things like leaves on the trees in the wintertime that should have fallen off,
Mm-hmm.
and things blooming a couple weeks too early in the spring.
And then another cold front comes in and it dies again. Then you have to wait longer for it to come back, right?
Yeah. And
yeah.
So the other day I took a friend, uh, uh, he was flying out to Seattle. I took him to the airport at 4:30 in the morning, and I got back home here. Still pitch, well, it's never ever dark here now. It's
mm-hmm.
always twilight.
Mm-hmm.
But at that hour in the morning, it was night. The birds all over the neighborhood were singing.
Mm-hmm.
And most people would say, oh, or not even notice it or say the birds are singing.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be active. It's a huge, that circadian rhythm, the interruption there is both daily and seasonal. It matters to nesting, to mating, to laying eggs, to migration.
Yeah.
Everything is being altered. So just because we turn off the switch doesn't mean that we haven't already lost species. And can we gain those back? And they may be critical ones for our survival, like pollinators.
Yeah.
Right?
Moths, bees. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to preface this comment with, it may not matter. It may already be too late. We may already have instigated the spiral to the silent spring. But that doesn't mean we have to continue down that path. And yes, we should try to make something now. Or try to do something now that I know that light is increasing at almost 10% a year. I can tell you as a dark sky advocate, and actually I'm a member of the Environmental Advisory Council in my municipality, that it's been difficult to get decision makers because they have no understanding in this problem.
Next, we have Diane Turntrick, who has also been a part of Dark Sky, Pennsylvania.
So you said, what are the biggest contributing factors to light pollution?
Yeah.
I misinterpreted it to say, like, super easy to see who's contributing to light pollution.
Oh, yeah.
Glaringly obvious who's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It tells the tale. But it's really, it's not like some companies secretly like dropping chemicals into a river late at night or a smokestack at 3 a.m. throwing off fumes. It's super obvious.
It is very obvious. Yeah.
But there was a research study in Tucson, John Barrentine's, in 2019. And what he did was he looked at the streetlights and modeled and studied and found that streetlights perhaps put 24% of the light out there, which is not a lot. We talk about streetlights all the time, and it's not even a quarter of the problem. So they were working in Tucson. Tucson has pretty strict light pollution ordinances because they have all these observatories, like 10 different observatories around it. So that may not be completely representative of every city, but the other parts of the light, it comes from resident houses. You would think that that's most of it, but the city also has other facilities like parks and playgrounds and the way stations where they keep the salt, the depots on the side of the road. Those are always lit up like somebody's going to come and steal your salt. Waste management.
Yeah.
Green.
It's all these government facilities, right?
A lot of it is, but
a lot of it is.
The newest, biggest thing is greenhouses, because as soon as you legalize marijuana, pop up all over, and they're glass roofs, and there are lights all night.
Yeah.
So Mark has some really good pictures if you want to see his pictures of that.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Fracking, that's hugely lit up. Jails, warehouse hubs, that's a new one.
Wow.
Every time there's a big warehouse hub that goes in, people are working 24/7 and they light the parking lot.
That was another one. Yeah,
they think light and safety go together.
Not
always, not necessarily. A certain amount of light, a little bit of light, yes, so you don't fall in a hole or something. But our eyes are very adaptive if you give them a chance. If you just light everything like it's day, we never get to dark adapt.
The biggest ways to help create this change is to spread awareness. Also, as far as policy making, there are 5 lighting principles. Lighting should be useful, it should be targeted, it should be low level, it should be controlled, and it should be warm colored. In conclusion, I am in the belief that light pollution is one of the quieter tragedies of the 20th and 21st century, and continues to be one of the least talked about negative externalities of the 20th and 21st century. While the rest of the world is frantically worried about environmental hazards such as chemical spillover, air pollution, global warming, and water pollution, perhaps there is another option that we have yet to consider. Light pollution is a problem that we can easily fix, perhaps more easily than the rest. With effort to lower light pollution, we will save electricity, thereby cutting costs, and reduce electricity consumed, thus lowering our carbon footprint. Save ecosystems, helping the environment. Preserving the night sky, which has been a vital and irreplaceable component in the structuring and development of religious and spiritual beliefs and values since the beginning of time as we know it, thus helping the development of the human psyche. Potentially have a lasting impact on alleviating the mental health crisis that is plaguing the United States, and potentially create a lasting impact on generations to come. Where there is an ecosystem full of life that has co-evolved with the sun, there has also been an ecosystem of life which has co-evolved with the night. For all we know, humans may have co-evolved with the night and stars in a spiritual sense, more than we may be able to comprehend and perceive at this moment in time. Thank you for watching. I also want to thank Mark and Diane for being absolutely fantastic interviewers. I really wish I could have put more time into this and spent more time editing and adding it and making it better in some sort of way, but I have an exam tomorrow and another class, very difficult class, and I am grateful for the opportunity. This was a good amount of work I put into this, but it was meaningful and it meant a lot. So that's all I have to say, and thank you.